Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I present you a king from New Jersey. He is a loan officer. His name is Thomas Bickett. Thomas is a devoted husband, a loving father, and a graduate of Cornell University in 1998. Tom has devoted his career to helping homeowners with all their financial needs. For many people, selecting the right mortgage is an overwhelming experience. It doesn't have to be with Tom. He has been in consumer finance for 15 years. He started as an investment advisor for a money management firm where he preached suitability, making sure the investment was the appropriate choice for the customer. He takes the same approach with his mortgage clients. They need to know their options and understand how each one applies to their unique situation, is one of his core beliefs. He will take the time to personally review your scenario, give you the options, then let you make a pressure-free choice. Please call today. Tom is privileged to be part of an amazing industry. The goal and realization of home ownership is an attainable dream for all Americans. As a mortgage professional, he focuses on helping one homeowner at a time. He has focused his career on helping people financially. Americans have four large money spends in their life: their kids, their education, their retirement, and lastly, their home. Tom specializes in providing customized mortgage solutions to home buyers and homeowners to help minimize the longer-term impact of money spending. He specializes in first-time home buyers, refinances, seminars, jumbo lending, specialty loan programs, USDA, VA, 203K rehab loans, loan officer management, cash flow management, and debt consolidation specialist. Everyone, please give it up for Tom.
Hey everyone, how are you?
Good, Tom. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
No, I'm fantastic.
Yes, I see you with the money tree in the background. It's funny.
Yes, everybody needs a money tree.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes.
Tom, how did you? What wealth money management company were you at before the lending side? And did you start at AnyMac, or where were you prior to AnyMac? What other shop have you been at?
That's a great question. I graduated college in 1998 and immediately started my life as an adult in the working environment on Wall Street for a company called Lord Abbett. Lord Abbett was a money management firm that dated all the way back to 1929. It was a company that got its roots started during the financial crisis of 2029 and grew to be one of the largest independent private wealth management companies around. I worked for them for about 6 years and learned a lot about my favorite word, which is suitability, right? Know your customer. I was Series 7 licensed, Series 63, Series 65 at the time. And everything that we learned was about suitability. Know your customer, understand what their needs are, understand what their goals are, and try to make recommendations based on the future goals that they had. My primary job was sales and focusing on educating financial planners on the money packages that Lord Abbett was able to deliver through wealth management, mutual funds, private money, and the such.
Nice. And how did you discover AnyMac, or what shop did you discover first?
So in 2004, I was living in New York City. I was promoted out to the Midwest. I lived in Nebraska for about 2 years, from 2002, 2004. 2004, being a young man, I was ready to migrate home. I grew up in southern New Jersey, just in the shadows of Philadelphia, and moved back. I thought I was going to be a financial planner and realized at that time that it wasn't the right path for me. And then in 2005, I found myself in the mortgage world, doing primarily refinances, especially for those customers that didn't have the best of credit situations. So really helping them tap into their equity positions to consolidate. And that's where I really learned about money, like cash flow side of things. I realized that debt, no one wants debt, but if you use debt the right way, you can improve your overall cash flow, ultimately allowing you to make more money, save more money, and have a better quality of life. Financial crisis hit in 2007. I really enjoyed mortgages, but it was tough. It was tough sledding. For 2 years, I worked for a real small broker company. There was like 3 employees, but they've taught me everything I knew about the business today, and started my own branch in 2009. 2013 consolidated that into AnyMac Home Mortgage. So I joined AnyMac Home Mortgage in 2013 and really focused my career primarily on purchase side of the business, working with real estate partners and other referral partners to help grow our businesses collectively. And I'm thankful to have stuck with it during those financial tough times of the late 2000s. And here I am today, a top 1% mortgage producer.
Nice. Congrats, man. You're really one of the most elite to ever do it. Can you walk me through what your strategy is in today's world compared to what it was in COVID? Because I'm sure COVID was some say right now it's a slower, tougher market for most.
I think that I'm an optimist at first, right? You really have to approach everything that you're going to do with positive mindset. So you got to get this right first, because if you buy into everyone else's doom and gloom, right, you're just going to create a dark cloud and never really fully get to where you want to be. The reality is there's more business happening right now. If you're a real estate agent, if you're a mortgage lender, there's more business happening in your market right now than you can even dream of handling. Right. So the real question becomes is, what are you doing to get your unfair share? What are you doing to plant your money trees? Because it takes time for those things to grow. Right. So the number one thing I would say is have a plan of 2 to 3 things that you know will move the needle in your business. And number 2 is you got to take action towards those things, right? Do the thing that you need to do to generate the business that you want. It's not rocket science. It's about helping people. And I think, in the lending world, I view it as 2 different sales hats, right? Number 1, obviously, we have to be a great resource to our clients who need the financial guidance, whether they're a first-time home buyer, buying a second home, looking to build an investment portfolio, maybe they're upgrading, downgrading, whatever it is, really understand how to deliver on the goal side of your customer. And then the second piece is you really need to understand how to build a referral network. I primarily focus on realtors, but there's tons of people out there that need our guidance, whether they're CPAs, financial planners, contractors, builders. Like, there's tons of people out there that need really good quality people in our business. So for me, it's building relationships with referral partners and being goal focused with our customers that need the money to go on and do whatever it is that they're going to do.
No, good stuff, Tom. Good stuff. And how much outbound are you doing these days, or is it really just a majority just all referrals for you?
I've picked up my outbound. I've had the luxury of really focusing on my purchase practice now for nearly 12 years, and I have a pretty good base of realtors that know, like, and trust me. However, if the nucleus of people that I've been generating the majority of my business with for the past 5 years, if their business is down, by default, my business is going to be down, right? So we have to expand the referral network that we need to be in. So I'm doing a tremendous amount more of outreach and marketing. I think it's more marketing now than it is necessarily outreach. I learned a long time ago that all businesses, right, whether it's mortgage, real estate, any sales business, is about prospecting and marketing. Prospecting, marketing, prospecting, and marketing. And the marketing that you do really is designed to support the prospecting efforts that you make. Thankfully, I've been in my market now for 20 years, so I have some presence. So my marketing side of things, I've ratcheted up a lot. I'm offering a lot more webinars. I'm offering a lot more consultations. I've set up my calendar to be invitive to people that want to get my time to learn about our product mixes and or discover options for their own personal finances. So a lot more marketing outreach than I've done in the past. I've always been really targeted with my prospecting, right? I don't want to work with every single person out there. I want to find the people that I like, they like me, and we can mutually work together to help others, right? So my time is very precious. So I want to spend that time with the people that I actually enjoy spending time with. So my prospecting is really more about finding people that I want to be in business with, more so than just trying to get the business that they have.
It makes total sense, Tom. Makes total sense. What's the most misunderstood thing about you, your industry, or your work, would you say?
Most misunderstood thing about me? Yeah. That's you probably have to ask the people that know me best. But I'm a pretty straight shooter. I went to school to be engineering. I'm incredibly data-driven and analytical. So while I may not be the life of a party and blow up a room and be like, "Hey, everyone, it's Tom Bickett," I do care passionately about the people that I care most about, but I don't always necessarily express that in an altruistic way. I'm just constantly thinking about different ways to help our clients and help them succeed at the highest possible level. So I'm very focused in delivering on that ability to help people.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You really do have that giver's gain mentality, and I hope that really becomes part of your brand. What was your turning point in your career? Would you say, your journey, where like your eyes really opened up and like, wow, this mortgage thing is really for me.
For me, I wanted to be able to control my future, specifically my income and my time. It was probably income first. And then as I've gotten older, it's time has probably taken place of the money piece of it. But around 2012, I was on a really good refi run. Like people were refinancing from, the financial crisis of the late 2000s. There were some government programs designed to help people get out of upside down homes. And we were refinancing like crazy. And it was around May in 2012 where rates kind of just start to creep up a little bit. And my business, I was like, where is everybody? Like, where's my refinances at? And I realized that a purely refinance-driven book of business for mortgages is so sensitive based on the prevailing interest rate. So at that point, 2012-13 is when I really started to dabble in understanding how to be a great purchase lender. And everyone says, well, a mortgage is a mortgage. I think that your business mindset, whether you're trying to generate purchase referrals or refinance referrals, is just different. So in that time frame, Keller Williams came into my market where I live, and I went to their open house when they first opened. They had like 12 agents. I had a friend of mine that had joined, and I met their director who started Keller Williams, and he just completely opened my eyes about purchase business. And I said to myself, I need to figure out how to be a great purchase loan officer. And at that point is when my mind shifted. If I can control generating purchase opportunities, because people are going to purchase homes in up markets, down markets, high rates, low rates. People live, and they need a home to live in, to raise their family, to create memories, to enjoy life. And if you're not out there thinking about how purchase is an important part of your business, I would definitely encourage you to make that part of your business plan moving forward. But it was that pivotal moment in 2012, 2013, where I realized I can control my future by focusing on helping people buy houses.
No, I'm glad you, yeah. And then on a normal, what's an average cycle for you? The client meets you, you give the consultation, you create the pre-approval letter. How long does it usually take until you get to the closing table? Like 2 months, 3 months on average?
I mean, that's something that I like to refer to as duration, right? How long is a customer with us before they close on a home? That time frame is longer now than it's ever been. In my market in Southern New Jersey, inventory is incredibly tight. We don't have a lot of new construction. We're relying upon resale. We have a really large population density. So for that reason, it's been difficult for consumers to get offers to stick. Inventory isn't hitting the market because a lot of people refinance and have incredibly low rates, so they're not compelled enough. Even though their life may need it, they're not ready to give up that low interest rate. So I would say that from initial hello until they're gone and in the contract and closing on their home is probably pushing out closer to 60 to 90 days before that happens. We've created some products here to help make that happen a little faster. Not everyone, partakes in those new products. But yeah, I would say 3 months is probably the average duration right now.
Wow. So yeah, and the credit report's only good for 120 days. So you're really pushing it these days.
Yeah. I mean, for me, thankfully, we start with a soft pull with the majority of our clients, and about 75% of my book of business is conventional. So we can get pretty far into the process with a credit soft pull before we need to worry about that hard inquiry time clock ticking. So we can hang out, we can run underwriting analysis, we can make decisions based on those credit soft pulls. And when we get into contract, then do the hard inquiry, which gives us a much longer time frame with the viability of that actual credit report.
Wow, that's actually a plus with Annie Mac, I would say.
Yeah, it's something that we identified a couple of years ago with credit costs getting out of control, and trigger leads, unfortunately, being a rapid part of our business. We're trying to protect that consumer as long as possible before they get inundated with 50 phone calls as soon as that hard inquiry hits. So we really are protective of our consumer and their information.
Do you give them the opt-out option before you do the hard pull, or do you just let them know?
We educate them about what it is. Our CRM technology sends them that opt-out information once we get in the loan application with them. So they're going to be protected and warned. I myself personally do most of my job on strategy and structure with our clients. We've built an incredible loan team that really focuses in on the credit, the loan documentation, the pre-approval phase. So we really, our team is great at giving the customer everything they need to know to go out to market and be able to make, winning offers.
No, that's amazing, Tom. I'm glad you're making. When you submit an offer, do you reach out to the listing agent yourself, or do you just send like a video message or an email, or do you do anything like any secret sauce that you think gets you that ratified contract?
So again, yes. The short answer is yes. I do some video messaging, not so much on the offer itself, but they're getting a personalized phone call from me to explain the profile of what it is. Most of our clients are using a platform we created called Cash to Keys, where we're actually making cash offers on benefit of our clients, so the seller doesn't need to worry about home sale or finance contingencies. So the phone calls that we're making are really about educating the listing agent about, like, what did you just get? Like, what is this Cash to Keys offer, and why should my seller take it? So a lot of our outbound reach right now is about education, about the different types of programs that we have available that are helping our buyers win.
No, it's amazing. I'm glad you have that program in your toolbox. What's the biggest misconception people have about real estate in today's world, would you say?
I think that people believe that they shouldn't buy for two reasons. One is that prices are too high. And secondly, interest rates are too high. And I think that the emotion of what those two things are keeping people from making what ultimately could end up being one of the best financial choices that they ever make in their life, right? Again, depends on the market, depends where they are in life. But here locally in South Jersey, there's a wave building offshore right now of low rates. It's the low rate wave, and it is building momentum, it's building in size, it's building in speed, and eventually this rate wave is going to hit the shore. And it's going to cause people to frantically scatter, but what it's going to do is it's going to bring more buyers to the market. It's most likely going to drive prices higher. So someone who has the courage to buy what's affordable for them today will have the benefit of refinancing when rates eventually do drop, and probably benefit from the fact that the price of their home is going to continue to go up. So you can't refinance an asset that you don't own, right? So if you're waiting for interest rates to drop, you're probably going to pay more for that house. Rates are short term. Yes, they're for 30 years in most cases, but they're short term. The average family refinances every 5 to 7 years. Maybe that's pushed out a little bit because rates were so low during the COVID years that maybe people will hang on to them for a little bit longer. However, if you're waiting for something to happen and everybody else is waiting for the same thing, it's only going to cost you more money the longer you wait, right? So get into the home that's right for you now, based on your financials, based on your affordability, and benefit from that down the road, and simply refinance. Don't wait to buy for rates to drop to 5, 5.5, 6, whatever they end up may being, because you're going to pay a premium on that price. Price is forever. Rate is short term. Price is forever. That's the price you pay. That price is never going to change. And that's the cost of your money long term, and that compounds. So the biggest misconceptions is don't wait for lower rates. Don't wait for lower prices. One, they may never come. And two, if they do, it's probably going to cost you more money in the long run.
No, it truly is, Tom. It truly is. I don't know if you heard any previous episodes, but I literally tell people, the guests, most borrowers, their wage growth it goes up 2-3% a year.
Exactly right.
Or 4% if they're lucky. The home that they like today, it goes up 5 to 6 every year. And if rates do drop, there's gonna be more pool of buyers, and they're gonna even push the price up even higher. So right now is the moment to buy and get the seller credit. But if
go ahead. I was gonna say, our owner here at Annie Mac, Joe P, put out some stats that said for every 1% drop in interest rates, it brings about 4 to 5 million more people who can afford that specific home. Every 1% drop right? So if we go from 7 to 6, nationally, there's going to be another 4 to 5 million people looking to buy a home at today's prices. If we get down to low fives, you're talking about another 10 million potential people entering the market that has the same affordability with the people that are shopping today. That's going to get really crowded really fast, right? So it's going to be easier to put a deal together now at higher rates and just take advantage of refinances when they come.
No, you're totally right. You're totally right. I did not know. Thank you for sharing those numbers with me. If you could change one thing about the industry, what would it be and why?
And I think everyone in our business probably deserves the right to perform and do whatever they want to do with their career. I come from a Series 7 background, financial planning. It is really hard to get that license. I think that I would make it more difficult for people to get in our industry. I think I would require banks to have their loan officers take tests and be licensed. I think that it's unfair for someone working in a federal bank or a charter bank or whatever to not actually have to go be licensed. I think that's a problem with our industry. And I think you make the requirements to be in this business a little tougher, right? Because when rates drop and it's easy to refinance people flock to our industry to try to make a quick buck. And it just simply takes away from the true professionals that are building a career and who are really dedicated on helping people, not just about the money.
No, you're totally right. You're totally right, people. It's funny how everything's cyclical in life. Everything is temporary. What's the most courageous decision you've made recently, and how did it impact you?
Recently, I don't know if I've made any courageous decisions recently. I've really been focused on just doing the do. So I don't know if it's necessarily courageous. I will tell you that doing hard things tends to make people more resilient and better in life. About 10 years ago, I weighed a lot more than I do today. And I made a decision that I was going to run a marathon. So I played college. I was a college athlete, played football, a lineman. So you don't think of me as a runner, nor do I look like a marathoner. However, I decided that I was going to run a marathon. And in spite of all the things I've done in football, it's probably the single greatest athletic accomplishment that I've had to date. And putting in that time and energy, like it changed me, not just physically, it changed me knowing that, man, I can do hard things. All it takes is a plan and it takes execution. So courageousness is really truly just deciding what it is that you want and just go do it. There's nothing that's keeping us in this country from doing the things that we ultimately want to do. It's simply a function of, being resilient in the things that you want and actually taking the action to go do it. If there's something that you think you want, but you're not taking the steps to do it, then you don't really want it, right? You're not convicted to it. So for me, it's really about decide what it is that you want, take the plan, and just take action. And at the end of it, right, whether you complete it or not, if you truly are moving towards something, the version of you at the end of that journey is going to be a better version of the person that started the journey. And I think that's probably the most important thing about being courageous is going on a journey and just getting better by taking action at things.
No, it sounds like you're very pragmatic and not theoretical, which I enjoyed.
Yeah. It's just it's like a computer program, right? Like if someone writes a computer program, right, and you hit go, the computer program just runs. It doesn't have an option not to do it. Now, there could be an error somewhere in there that causes it to stop, and then you go in and you fix the error, right? Like if we could take the emotion out of the emotion of, well, what, I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough, or I can't do it, or I'm scared, or I don't whatever it is, and simply if we could like remove that part of our brain and just do, right? That in and of itself will create some pretty awesome stuff. Maybe that's income stuff. Maybe that's help more people stuff. Maybe that's have better relationships in your world with family, spouses, kids, whatever. Like we are action creatures. We were built to move, and when we don't take action, right, we get sedentary and we don't accomplish, right? So take action, take movement, and the needle moves, and it can move really fast. Like I don't think people appreciate how quickly you can move the needle in your world by simply taking action.
Amen to that. Preach, Tom, preach. What's the next big thing we should expect in the real estate industry, and how are you contributing to it? Do you think what's happening in August, do you think lenders will get creative and actually pay for the buyer's agent, or how do you think that's going to affect?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that I don't think lending companies are going to internally just create products to pay realtors. I think that's a slippery slope that could really create some RESPA challenges. I think that margin in our industry is already pressured, and it's going to be difficult to create enough monies to loosen up closing costs or down payment to effectively pay for that commission. If margin does come back, now customers are taking a higher interest rate to create seller or lender concessions to pay for real estate commissions. I think once the dust settles and everyone truly understands the landscape, I expect some of the agencies could come forward and create some products to help offset the out-of-pocket exposure. Whether it's a DPA, a grant, or something to help loosen up the money that's being spent on the actual down payment and closing costs. But until the dust settles, and I don't think anyone's rushing on the lending side to figure out this solution until we're there, right? Why create a solution to something you don't necessarily know what you're solving?
Not very true. Yeah, only time will tell how that one plays out. Out of curiosity, how do you handle criticism or negative feedback about your work if it's even ever occurred to you?
Listen, we're not perfect. And to think that you are is narcissistic. To think that you can't learn and grow, even if you've been in business for nearly 20 years, again, is narcissistic. So I embrace criticism. There's a point in my career where it probably bothered me. But someone once told me, all you can do is all you can do. So what can you do, right? So take criticism wholeheartedly, right? Unless someone is just being malicious, most people are giving you honest feedback. And if someone is daring or courageous enough to give you some criticism that might feel a little hurtful, be open to it. Don't judge it. Take it in, learn from it, and get better, right? I believe that we're all on this journey of mastery, whether it's self-mastery, business mastery, it's mastery, right? And mastery, to become perfectly masterful of something, is a myth. You're never going to get there, because as soon as you hit a place, there's always another place you can get to, right? And it's simply leveling up mastery. So criticism allows you to move faster towards mastery, in my opinion, and I embrace it. So I'm not scared of it.
No, yeah, I'm glad you always see the glass half full, and you're always.
You have to. I give an example of something. I actually shared this with my kids recently, where it was like a glass of water, and it was perfectly clear. You could see through it. It was like the perfect glass of water, right? And I took one drop of ink and put it in the glass and gave it a little stir, and within seconds, it was completely cloudy. One negative thought can cloud your brain, your mindset, and it takes a long time to get that water purified again, right? So I choose to look at everything from the most positive light I can. Now, I know people are dealing with some things that you just are unavoidable, right? If people get sick, loss of loved one, I get that, right? Sometimes it's unavoidable. But the more resound you can be in your positive mental outlook on things, life just gets better. It just gets better. So really try to avoid trying to control things that are uncontrollable. I can't control rates. I can't control prices. I can't control guidelines. I can't control anything other than my outlook on life, right? So be sharp there. And if you can control good quality, positive mindset and focus on helping others, life will always take care of itself.
No, you really do. I'm glad you have these mantras set out for yourself. I'm sure your subconscious mind sounds very powerful.
Sure, I read a lot. I'm an avid reader. I love educating. I love listening. I'm a big podcaster. I'm a big, book. I just like mastery, right? We're on a journey of mastery. So you constantly have to be feeding yourself with good, positive stuff. Like if you're eating good, right? If you're eating healthy, like you're on point with your diet, which I'm not always am, but I think of my brain as like a diet, right? If I'm constantly pouring good messaging, good stuff, good feel good, winning stories, success stories, like whatever it is, like I'm filling my brain up with that stuff, it just doesn't leave a lot of room for negative behavior. Right? It's when we lax on feeding ourselves good quality, positive nutrition, right? From mental perspective, and when we stop doing that, it creates space in our brain to allow negative stuff to happen, right? So you gotta be resolved in your positive thinking.
And you're definitely proactive. You're definitely super proactive, not reactive.
Have to be.
Yeah. What's your favorite book, podcast, or article that's had a significant impact on your life where you're working?
Read a lot. Probably the one that really hit me the most recently is Brendan Burchard's, man, the name escaped me, but it's about habits, high performance habits. And he has like 6 pillars of habits in your life that you need to spend time focusing on. Some of them are self, some of them are outward, but by mastering some of these things, and each one is a journey, right? It's about understanding where you are in life, where you're strong, where you're weak, and focusing on the areas that need improvement. But that is a really, really good book. And I wouldn't even look at it as a book. I would look at it more as as a textbook, like a manual on life, on how to really have great habits and have great mindset. But that book in the last 12 months has really meant a lot to me. And I listen to him quite a bit. I listen to his podcast. I listen to what he puts out. Always positive, to the point of like people are like, man, he's like overly positive, but that's just how he chooses to be, and that's what I choose to be.
Yeah, exactly. You choose, and I'm glad you're lighting people's you're the light to people's lives. And then who or what inspires or influences you the most in your work? Would you say?
What inspires me?
Who or what inspires or influences you the most in your work?
I mean, for me, it's knowing your why. It's my kids. It's my wife. It's my legacy. I have 2 kids. They're teenagers. They both swim year round. They're competitive year round swimmers. So all of my time and energy is poured into them to trying to give them the best life possible. And it doesn't necessarily mean the money side of things, right? As they've gotten older, and I've sacrificed some things. Like work-life balance, I think is a little bit of a myth. I don't think there's a true world of work-life balance if you're trying to create legacy. I think that you have to understand that when you're in a flow, if I'm on workflow, I'm in workflow. And if I'm in family flow, I'm in family flow. And you have to be cognizant of that, right? Almost compartmentalize the important things in your life. Self-care, family care, business care. So for me, it's about understanding your why and knowing why you're doing the things you're doing and how you do it.
No, that's totally true. You know what? When it's all said and done, do you know what legacy you want to leave behind?
I don't necessarily have a perfect picture of what that looks like yet. I don't know the answer to that one yet, and that's part of the mastery that I'm trying to figure out. I'm 48 years old. I still have a long career in this because I love it and I love helping people. So I know that the more people I can help and the more word I can spread through great things like this, the more reach you create, it's just good, right? And that's going to create, the legacy will manifest itself as I continue on in my journey.
I hope so. Yeah, you are visualizing, so it will be manifested. What's the story behind your most memorable success or failure, would you say?
Man, I don't know. That's a tough one. I think kind of what I shared with you previously about not being the most healthiest of dudes and deciding that I was going to run a marathon. It was Easter Sunday of 2011, and I said to my wife, I'm going to go for a run. She's like, what? I said, I'll go for a run. I don't know why, but I went for a run. I felt compelled to go for a run. I did like a 2-mile run, mostly walk. And a month later, I ran my first 5K. 6 months later, I did my first half marathon. A year later, I did my marathon, right? So in 18 months, I moved the needle from not being able to run 2 miles to running 26.2. And I would say that in that, man, you learn a lot about yourself. One, you have to have a plan. Two, you have to have people that support you and believe in you, in spite of the fact they think you're nuts. But I think that in that journey, the thing that really resonated with me is that when you have people believing in you, blowing that belief wind into your sail, you can go really far. It's hard to do it alone. So find, whether you're having successes or whether you're having failures, surround yourself with people that actually believe in you, because that belief system, it can take you almost anywhere. And trust that they believe in you. Don't question the belief, trust it. Almost surrender to it, right? When you can surrender to a belief system, you really can accomplish some great stuff.
No, you're totally right. Yeah. No, it really does sound like you have that blind faith in you. You're not scared to take that step forward.
You want to know what it is? Like, our minds, right, are built. This is crazy, right? But like, our minds are built to keep us comfortable. It's part of our defense mechanism. Like, when I touch something that's too hot, ooh, ouch, don't do that again, right? Our brains are wired to keep us comfortable, right? So when we start doing things that feel risky, feel overwhelming, feel too challenging, I can't see myself getting there, right? Our protective mechanism kicks in and said, that's all right. You don't need to do that. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, you're good. Like, be chill. And it's hard to turn that part of your brain off, because it is part of your defense mechanism. But the way you do it is by getting out there and doing hard things, finding people that believe in you, that support you in doing those hard things. And then you build up calluses to that part. Then your brain's like, oh, wait, that's not that bad, right? You can do this. Keep doing it. Right now that feels good, right? So it's proof and verify. So you got to keep doing hard things. And as you do hard things, you get more resilient, and allows you to do more hard things. And every time you try to do something that's a little bit harder, the brain kicks in. Don't do it. You do it in spite of that. You get stronger, right? So it's this constant, doing hard things makes you better. It just does. Right? It just does. And then that's all things. Like relationships, having hard conversations in relationships, whether it's family, business, whatever, like having hard conversations. No one wants to do that. But by having hard conversations, you can get past things that you didn't even know existed. Right? In business, have hard conversations. In the weight room, do hard sets. In life, hard. Hard leads to better on all things.
No, you're totally right. And you're continuously getting better. So that's really good. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Oh man, that's for me, Warren Buffett. He's the Oracle of Omaha, right? That guy has created massive wealth for himself and the people he's surrounded himself with, and he's done it with no fancy gimmicks. Just having conviction, understanding your principles, looking for good people and good companies. I think that guy is a wealth of knowledge. That'd be one. And the second person would be Steve Jobs. Right? Steve Jobs, I believe, is just such an incredible revolutionary and understands human psychology in the world of business, of what people actually want. Like, I listen to a lot of his stuff, and the guy is incredible. All right. So those are probably the two people I'd love to have some dinner with.
No, those are two great choices. Warren Buffett is a living legend, and when you see the arbitrage trade, I think that's something that I think you can pick up on. Just knowing how to arbitrage, like how to leverage yourself in during certain situations or scenarios. What's your advice for someone starting out in the industry? Like, if someone were to get in today under an AnyMac, what advice would you give to them so they can end the year strong and take off in 2025?
I would tell them to do, that's a good one. Number one, put blinders on, right? Really narrow your focus on the things that are going to drive conversations as quickly as possible. You need to be in conversation with people. Social media, like, I see a lot of people flock to social media and thinking that that's prospecting. Social media is a form of marketing, right? Again, it's prospecting based, marketing enhanced. So you need to be talking to people. So be in conversation. The faster you are in conversation, with the more quality people that you can be, the faster opportunity will come. So number one is have blinders on by narrowing the focus on being in conversation. And number two, get a mentor, somebody that can really help keep those blinders on and keep you on point with that focus and hold you accountable, right, to the things that you want to be held accountable to, right? Someone asked me about accountability the other day, and accountability is funny, right? If you can't hold yourself accountable, how could you expect anybody else to hold you accountable? But if you want to be held accountable, like you truly are like, yeah, man, this is something I want and I need to get after it. I just need a little bit of, mentoring or coaching, all for it, right? But you got to want it. You got to want it. Like you're going to die of starvation if you don't go have these conversations. So be in conversation, be focused, find a great mentor. Those things always hold true in any environment to help move the needle fast.
No, it's so funny that you mentioned there is a want to or clutch factor that you got to have to be successful. What's the biggest lesson you learned so far in your career, would you say?
Be humble. Be humble, right? Don't judge. Right, just know what it is that you want. I think social media has done a lot of people some major injustice because it's forced people to make judgments every single time they turn it on. Right, whether you turn on IG, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, it is a simple function of like or not like. Right, I either choose to give it a thumbs up or I don't. And I know it's subconscious for the overwhelming majority of people, but it's training us to be judgmental. Right, so for me, I really think it's about being humble and being non-judgmental, right? We're all in our own individual journeys of wherever it's going to take us. So don't judge people where they are in their own individual journeys. Know yourself, know what you're trying to accomplish, pour into others around you, be helpful, and really just focus on yourself and the people around you, right? So I think that's probably the best advice I got. Be humble and be non-judgmental.
Good. That's great advice, Tom. That's great advice. What do you think is the key to maintaining a work-life balance? I know you said it's difficult when you want to leave legacy, but if there is a key, what would it be and how are you applying it to your life?
So I think that work-life balance is a little bit of a myth. I think that people that are seeking it are just generally imbalanced and they just call it work-life. Like, set boundaries. Hey, I'm working right now. I'm focused on my work, and I'm going to do the work until the work is done. And then when that's done, be done with it. When you're in parent mode, be a dad, be a mom. When you're in spousal mode, be a great husband, be a great wife. Like, really, really be intentional with where you are when you're there. To say, I'm going to work from 9 to 5 and then I'm going to be dad from 5 to 10. Like, I just think that's a myth. Like, I just don't think it's plausible. I don't think our industry, unfortunately, has specific boundaries to the work that needs to be done because there's somebody out there. Hey, someone probably just made an offer. Someone probably just looked at a house. Someone probably just engaged a realtor. Someone probably just filled out an app. Someone probably just did this, just did this, just did this. Like, time knows no limits, right? So if you allow time to crush you or run you, you're going to get buried, right? So I think for me, it's really just about being intentional in the time that you give something and do it, right? You just do it, right? And listen, there's going to be a moment where a refi boom hits, and my wife knows me. When that day hits, I'm probably going to be working 16-hour days. And that's just the way it's going to be. And it's not being out of balance. It's just understanding the flow that you're in and being in that flow. So I think that's the advice I'm trying to give is be in your flow, whether it's work, personal, self-care, and just be in that flow. And out of all of that, you will feel balanced, right? Because you're giving each of those flows the amount of energy that they deserve, as long as you give it when you're in that flow. So be in your flow, be 100% in that flow, and then shift to the next flow and just be present in each flow. And if you do that, balance will find itself.
No, I'm sure. No, that's great advice. And I'm glad you're super self-aware that when you're in a good cycle, when you understand what point of the cycle you're in. So you're really self-aware on that, I would say.
Yeah. And that comes with experience, right? And listen, there was a point when I was building It meant like there might have been like 2 realtors in my market that knew who Tom Bickett was. So there was a moment where I was putting in 80-hour work weeks, and my wife didn't see me, but she believed in me that I was building something that was good, that was meaningful, that had merit. So it wasn't always like that, right? But she understood that we were in build mode. Now there's probably 600 realtors in my local market that knows me. I'm not in business with all of them, but they know me, right? They know who Tom Bickett is. They know he delivers. They know that, if they see my name come across a pre-qual, the deal's getting done, right? So it's a little different now. So it's if you're in build flow, you're in build flow. Like, you're going to sacrifice some things, but you have to be okay with that. Not everybody is okay with that, and that's okay, right? Bezos, man, when he was building Amazon, that guy was probably working 8 days a week, 25 hours a day, right? I need to, my computer's going to juice out here pretty soon. I didn't plug it in. So either I can hit pause and go get my power cord, or we can wrap this thing up pretty soon.
All right. What's the most challenging aspect of being in your role, would you say?
Hey, before I answer, do you want to pause real quick? I'll go get my power cord. I don't want to lose the feed. Is that cool?
Yeah. Go for it. Go get the power
I'll be right back.
Sounds good. We're hearing from a king from New Jersey. I don't know if you heard him earlier. He's doing 1% of business. And we're gonna have to give it a moment. Oh, we can come back on. Boom. Hey, Tom.
Hey, man, I'm really sorry about that. I thought I had my stuff plugged in, and anyways, I'm back.
All good. Thanks for hopping back on and blessing
man. Good conversation.
Yeah. Again, back to my question. What do you think is the most challenging thing about your role in 2024? Would you say?
I think the most challenging thing is standing out in a crowd. There's a lot of people in our space. There's fewer deals getting done, but while a lot of people maybe have moved out of this business, still a lot of people in it, right? So it's very competitive, right? You really got to be sharp with your processes and your experiences, and making sure that you're giving customers everything they need to be able to make the right choice, right? And that's just not rate too, right? It's everything, right? Really give incredible levels of service, that help people make good financial decisions. And in doing such, you'll build following.
No, you're totally right. I'm sure by at this point your system and structures are in line where you're performing at a very optimal level and giving your exceptional user experience to your client.
Yeah. But again, I'm not naive to know that I still can't learn, right? Back to your question about criticism, like no one's perfect. It's about mastery, right? So there's always opportunity to improve something, whether it's delivery, whether it's process, whether it's system, people, software, whatever. There's always opportunities to move the needle a little bit, right? And there's a good book called Atomic Habits that really focuses on trying to get 1% better each day. And I know 1% better doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you compound 1% better every day over the course of a year, when you look back, that's 365% better than what you were when you started a year ago. So it pushed the envelope of improvement by just a little bit each day, and you'll see incredible results at the finish line.
No, you're totally right. Back to your point where your running journey, that 18 months, you're incrementally getting better. And that's all what people have to do. Some people just want to go super fast, and because they ramp up too fast, it might cause too much unknown, and that's why they stop. But if you do it incrementally, like you said, like the big scale.
Well, think about it this way, right? If you're somebody that has call reluctancy, I don't know who to call, I don't want to call, they don't want to talk to me, they're busy, they get a lot of phone calls like me, I'm not going to make phone calls, right? Your brain just came up with call reluctancy. But then you say, you know what? I'm going to talk to 5 people today, each day this week, right? So at the end of the week, that's 25 people. Next week, bump it to 6 people that you talk to, right? Now you went from 25 to 30. The next week, bump it to 7, bump it to 8. Right? In a really short period of time, now you've increased the number of people you're talking to from 25 to 50. You doubled it, right? And it doesn't take that long to get to that double, right? And by simply being in conversation with people and being humble, like, yeah, most of those people aren't going to have business for you right now, but you're in conversation. Give them compelling reasons why they want to trust you with their clients, why they want to trust you to do something with them. And that doesn't always necessarily mean phone calls. Maybe you spend a Saturday going to every open house in your community and just saying, hey, I saw you at open house. Congratulations. How's it going? Man, next one you do, I'd love to come support you. Right. So my point is like being in conversation can take on a lot of different looks, but be in conversation and push that needle. Again, just 1% makes a big difference months from now.
No, you're totally right. You're totally right. What's your take on the future of the industry? Do you see us buying with blockchain in the next 5 to 10 years, or do you think that's like a ways out?
Say the question again. I missed it.
What's your take on the future of the industry? Like, do you think people will be buying with blockchain in the next 5 to 10 years, or that's a ways out?
I don't know. I try not to think too much about the future, right? The future is always untold. I don't know. I don't know if Bitcoin and other blockchain cryptocurrencies are going to become wide enough acceptable for people to do their business in that. Maybe someday. You talk to the people that are crypto crazies, they'll tell you it's coming tomorrow. I'm not that. But it doesn't matter to me, right? If it's an acceptable currency that allows people to transact, fantastic. Predicting the future gets a little murky, right? All I know is that, I look at trends, I look at demographics. There's a lot of people out there, young people, under the age of 36, that still need to own a home, right? They still haven't they're going to be creating families. They're going to be having kids. They need to have affordable housing. They need a place to raise those kids and create memories. I think our industry is going to be in a really good situation. We just need to find a way to create more inventory to satiate the number of people that need to buy a house, right? And that's going to require government. I think that's going to require builders. I think that's going to require states to make it easier and more affordable for consumers to buy new construction. There's just not enough inventory existing to support the people that need to own a home.
No, you're totally right. I think the country is short like 4 million homes or something like that. What are your personal goals for the next 5 to 10 years? Do you want to build out a team, or you just want to scale up on your own?
I mean, I've had teams in the past. I enjoy coaching and mentoring people. I think that for me personally, my kids are teenagers. They're all in on the swimming thing. So like my business, right? The point of business is to fund the life that you want. Like, so for me, it's continuing about generating the business that supports the life that I want, to be able to spend time with my kids in the things that they like to do, which is right now swimming. And that takes us all over the place, right? Sometimes it's travel meets, sometimes we're going to fly to some places. There's probably 10 meets throughout the year. So we're constantly involved with that sport. And that's the season that I'm in. So for me, business funds the perfect life. If the opportunity took somebody on to mentor them and build a team with them, great. Not my primary focus right now. It's still about continuing to build the foundation of people that I'm in business with that I know, like, and trust. And they know, like, and trust me, right? So for me, it's about like that. My 1% is, can I go find a realtor that I like them, they like me, and we can have a meaningful business relationship together, right? If you can go out and find 5 of those in the next 3 months, 6 months, like that will change your business model. That will change your income. That will change how you operate, right? So it's real about being selective, being specific, and finding those people. Because that's like when you're working with people that you love, then it's not really a job anymore. It's not really a job. You just get to show up and be in business with people that you really like.
Yeah, most people show up to work either because they love who they work with or they love what they do. And if you get to do both, then wow, you're truly winning in this thing called life, I would say.
It's not work. Yeah, it's not work. When you mutually are focused on helping others, like, it just that's scalable, right? Hey, by myself, I can help. I don't know. I think a single originator effectively can probably do 60 to 80 units a year. Right? When you start pushing beyond that, then you need staff, right? So my team that I have, there's 3 originators. We're all equal in size in terms of production. We have a support staff of 4 that help us from hello to contract, 2 on the front end, 2 on the back end, right? Now, the cool part about building business in real estate is it becomes stackable, right? I've had employees before that were originators I managed, and you get an override or whatever, drive revenue. It's really hard to find people that have the same passion you do, right? I think it's much easier to focus on what you're really good at, which is, for me, customer acquisition and conversion, versus going out and building some team that, man, I don't know if they're going to perform or not perform. Like, I don't think you can ever fully take your foot off of the pedal of personal production. Unless your one thing is you want to scale a big team with originators that you can support. That's not something I want, at least right now, and nor do I see it over the next 3 to 5 years for me. But for those that want it, awesome, right? Go do that. I just love personal production, having some control over my income.
No, good for you, Tom. Good for you. Has ever pondered you though? Like, were you ever ever been driving, or you ever been at home like, maybe if I wasn't mortgage, I would be doing this. Like, you know what that would be?
I haven't really dreamed like that in a while, simply because I really do love what I do. 20 years in, I really have passion for this. I think that I have a knack for wanting to see others be successful in that sense. So I do enjoy mentoring and coaching. So I think if I were ever to hang up this hat, I would focus in on coaching others to just be the best versions of themselves, not necessarily mortgage coaching, but just coaching people, right? And I think people, I got a business coach, I got a personal coach. Like, you just need people sometimes to help you see through the murky waters so you can get clear on what it is that you're trying to do, and then focus on those few little things that actually have meaningful impact on the outcome. I listened to really good book I read also, you mentioned books, is Bob Bowman. A lot of people don't know who Bob Bowman is, but Bob Bowman was Michael Phelps' coach. I think most people know who Michael Phelps was. He was, a historic swimmer here in the United States. Bob Bowman was his coach. He wrote a book called The 10 Golden Rules, and it was his philosophy on how to coach winning athletes. And obviously he's gone on to become a business leader and what have you. But I don't know if it was in the book or maybe a podcast I've seen him in, but he's like, you can't control the outcome of anything. You can predict the outcome, but the only thing that you have any control over in life is your input. What are you willing to put in? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to get done to move that needle, right? And if you do all of those things, you could have some potential control over the output. But like in sports, Michael Phelps was only as good as Michael Phelps could swim on that particular day. They never trained to win because somebody else could swim faster than you on that day, right? You have zero control over what somebody else is going to do, period. And as soon as you accept that and realize that it isn't about outcome, it's about input, then you're going to be okay.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, once you can reverse engineer what input takes to get your output, that's when it really becomes fun. But, all right, Tom, I got 2 more questions for you. When I'm 80 years old, I'm going to be watching this. Like when I'm really, really old, what piece of advice do you want to leave with me?
Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. It's life is way too short. 80 years is an incredible life. It's an incredible time period. But in the grand scheme of everything, we were here for a moment in the greater picture. So enjoy every moment of it, embrace it, and push yourself, right? I think the greatest fulfillment is when you achieve the greatest things, right? So go achieve as much as you possibly can and enjoy in all of the things that you were able to achieve, right? I know when I'm 80 and I look back and I'm like, man, I ran a marathon. I raised, great kids. I played collegiate football. I had an Ivy League degree. I built a business. All enjoyable things, right? So enjoy the ride. Don't take yourself too seriously, right? I think that kind of falls under the enjoyment thing. Sometimes we get so stressed out about something that we forget that it's about enjoying it.
No, you're totally right. Yeah, sometimes it's best just to live in the present.
It really is. It really is. Bob Iger, who's the present CEO of Disney, wrote a book called A Ride of a Lifetime, and it chronicles his time starting as a stagehand in ABC back in like the 70s, and how he grew that into becoming CEO of one of the most recognizable brands in the world, and just talks about enjoying the process, enjoying the people, trying to create something that's magical. Disney's about creating magic, right? Just embracing the process of creating. So another great book if you're into that kind of stuff.
No, thank you for sharing that, Tom. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have any last pieces of advice that you wish you had received earlier in your career, or anything that you want to share with the public?
Yeah, I think kind of just to sum up the themes that we've been talking about so far, which is, put blinders on, narrow the focus on the things that actually matter, right? If you can do that in life and be present in the flow that you're in, workflow, family flow, self-care mode, whatever it is, be present, work with blinders, narrow the focus on a few things, and just move fast, right? Don't delay, don't procrastinate towards the things you want. Just narrow that focus, improve speed, improve quality, learn, go, and things will be perfect. They really will.
No, thank you for sharing that, Tom. Ladies and gentlemen, again, you just heard from a king from New Jersey, a mortgage loan officer, Thomas Bickett. We can call him Tom Bickett whenever you get him on the phone. Tom, Thanks for your time.
Appreciate you. This is fantastic. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, man. Till next time.